The silver market is flashing urgent warning signs that every investor needs to be aware of right now. We're seeing a convergence of technical, fundamental, and geopolitical factors that point to an imminent and potentially historic move in silver prices. If you've been on the sidelines, the window to act may be closing faster than you think. Let's start with the technicals. Silver has been forming a massive cup and handle pattern on the long-term charts, a formation that often precedes major breakouts. The metal has been consolidating in a tightening range, coiling up like a spring ready to explode higher. We're now right at the apex of this pattern, and a decisive break above $30 could unleash a wave of buying that propels silver to new all-time highs. But it's not just the chart setup that's signaling a major move. The fundamentals for silver are equally compelling. Global silver demand hit a record high last year, driven by surging industrial use in solar panels, electronics, and the electric vehicle boom. At the same time, silver mine supply has been flat for several years now. This widening supply-demand gap can only be resolved with much higher prices. What's fascinating is that while demand is soaring, the paper silver markets seem completely disconnected from these realities. The big commercial banks have amassed a massive short position in COMEX silver futures, essentially betting against the metal. But here's the thing. These are paper contracts, not physical silver. And there's now 500 times more paper silver than actual metal in the COMEX vaults. It's a fractional reserve system that's completely unsustainable. If even a small percentage of these contract holders request delivery, it would unleash a short squeeze of epic proportions. We could see a repeat of the nickel market squeeze in March 2022, when prices doubled in a single day and the London Metal Exchange had to suspend trading. But the real kicker is what's happening on the geopolitical front. Countries around the world are actively de-dollarizing, reducing their dependence on the U.S. currency. Russia, China, India, and many others are now settling trade in their own currencies and accumulating gold and silver as monetary reserves. Central banks added a record 1,136 tons of gold to their holdings in 2022, the biggest increase since 1967. It's a clear sign that they're losing faith in the dollar system. But here's what most people don't realize. Silver is actually a more strategic metal than gold for industrial and military applications. That's why China has quietly imported a staggering 300 million ounces of silver in just the last 3 months. This is all happening against a backdrop of soaring government debt, currency debasement, and the highest inflation in over 40 years. It's a perfect storm for precious metals, and silver in particular. Many of the world's top investors are now sounding the alarm. Billionaire Eric Sprott recently put over $100 million of his own money into silver investments. He's predicting silver could hit triple digits in this bull market. But perhaps the most telling sign is what we're seeing in the physical silver market. Retail demand for silver coins and bars is now so intense that mints around the world are rationing sales. The U.S. Mint sold out of 2022 Silver Eagles and had to suspend production. Premiums on physical silver have doubled from a year ago and now exceed 50% over the spot price in some cases. What we're witnessing are the early stages of a run on the physical silver market. Investors are losing confidence in paper assets and are rushing to convert their rapidly depreciating fiat currencies into hard, tangible assets. It's a trend that's still in its infancy, but it's accelerating by the day. Quick aside, if you're sitting on $100,000 or more in retirement accounts, I put together a free guide on how gold IRAs work. It's in the description. Covers how to get physical gold and silver into your retirement account without tax penalties. Worth checking out if that's relevant to your situation. But back to the bigger picture here. When you step back and look at all the pieces of the puzzle, the technical setup, the supply-demand crunch, the geopolitical backdrop, the monetary debasement, it all points to one conclusion. Silver is on the verge of an historic breakout. We could be looking at a once-in-a-generation wealth transfer as this trend plays out. If there's one lesson from monetary history, it's that you don't want to be left holding the bag when a currency crisis hits. Just ask the citizens of Lebanon, Turkey, or Argentina how that worked out. When confidence is lost, it happens gradually, then suddenly. And by the time the masses wake up, it's too late. That's why it's so critical to act now, while silver is still affordable. Don't be fooled by the paper price illusion. The real action is happening in the physical market, and that's where you want to be positioned. As the old saying goes, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So here's the bottom line. The stars are aligning for a silver price explosion that could dwarf anything we've seen before. The smart money is already positioning for it. The question is, will you be ready when it happens? If you're still on the sidelines, the clock is ticking. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Take action now, before it's too late.